So we're finally here. We have looked at the van and everything is good and you want to buy it. How do you go about doing that?
This is part 5 of 5 of how to buy a used van for a camper van conversion. We've already gone and seen the van, we've checked the outside, we've checked the inside, we've checked the engine, you've taken it for a test drive, you're basically in love with it, but first of all you actually need to buy the van.
Now that gets tricky.
Now buying a used vehicle or a van or a house, in this case it's kind of all three, is not something that you do kind of every day.
So it's very hard to practice how to negotiate and how to approach talking about the price.
The first and most important thing that you have to constantly be thinking is be ready to walk away. If the price is not right, or you can't get it for what you want, or anything like that, just be prepared to say, well, that's as much as I think the van is worth. You have my number if you want to think again, but thank you for your time, and walk away. We
do make the effort to not get emotionally attached, but as you may have seen in some of our other videos, someone started naming the vans. And also when they came to the van we actually bought, man, we were so attached to it before we got there. The first thing you must establish in your head is the price underpriced, overpriced, or fairly priced? Now obviously to make up your mind on this topic, you would have had to inspect the van, which you have now done so, and also you should have done your research on the brand and model of this vehicle so you know how much its competitors are going for.
You should also know roughly how much it's going to cost you in the next, I don't know, year or so in terms of repairs. Like, will it need new tyres? Is it going to need something for the MOT? Is there something that you're going to need to fix immediately?
If the van is going for 6,000 but you've tallied up about £1,000 worth of repairs that need to be done, obviously that van is going for 7,000, not 6. Only those money are sort of kind of invisible and the seller's probably hoping that you don't notice. So in this way you actually total up the true value of the vehicle, hence you find out whether it's overpriced, underpriced, or actually pretty dang well priced. So if the van happens to be overpriced, which is very often the case, you must realize that it's highly unlikely that you'll be able to drop the price down more than 10%, even if the 10% drop is still overpriced. Negotiations in essence are a tug of war over a midpoint, and it's up to you to set up that midpoint.
How negotiations work is on a scale. This over here is the price that the seller is actually selling it for. This is the price that's advertised. This here is the price that you actually want to get it for, and this is the price that it's worth.
Which is the midpoint, which means that your start negotiating price is here. Okay?
Now this doesn't make any sense from a logical standpoint, but from a negotiation standpoint, this is how it works. Yeah. Because what the tug of war means is the seller will try to sell it around here, and you will want to be buying it around there.
Around my face.
Now the logical thing to do is say, look, we both know where this is going, let's just agree on this price here. But that doesn't happen.
So let's say the van is being sold for 8,000. So 10% of that is 7.2?
7.2.
7.2. So that is your midpoint. 7.2 is your midpoint, which means that you need to offer around
6.5, I would start at. And the way that it works, you edge your way more towards the middle. You don't go from 6.5 to 7.2. You go from 6.5 to 6.8 to 6.9 to maybe 7, and see if you can get your way closer and closer to that midpoint, but more on your side. And they'll be obviously trying to do exactly the same.
7.143?
7.143.5 plus VAT. No! We're back to square one.
So whoever gets it closer to their number wins. If the van happens to be underpriced, which is rare but it does happen, then that's good for you, I would say. But if it's too underpriced, then you might want to treat that as a little bit suspicious. Maybe get a garage's opinion on it before you commit, I would say.
Yeah, I would say, because if it's too underpriced, there's something wrong.
Where's the engine?
More than likely. Yeah, where's the engine? Now, in the case where it's not underpriced, it's not overpriced, what do you do in that situation?
Don't be a dick. Generally, if you manage to establish that sort of clear communication with the seller, that is truly the price that it is, and then you try and knock them down, it's honestly ugly and dishonest.
Now in our situation, we thought that the price of this van that we bought here was absolutely spot on. So we literally said, if you give us a full tank of fuel, we'll buy it. And he said, I'll give you £100 off and you can go and fill it up yourself.
And that was it.
Spot on. That was it.
That was our negotiation technique with this van. Now that you have agreed on a price and you're both happy, you actually need to exchange the goods. Your options are cash or bank transfer. Of course, you can pay via credit or via check, but neither one of those are really immediate transactions. So there's gonna be this sort of limbo, awkward time that you have to get past. So we really don't recommend doing that. Now, so cash, there's two options with cash. Either you go to the bank and you withdraw the cash, but you're talking about anywhere between £6,000 to £10,000, dollars or whatever in cash, and that's a lot of money. So really, your pocket will be red hot and you'll feel like you have a target on your head the whole time. What you also can do is you can go to the bank, you and the seller go to the bank together. You go to the cashier and say what you're doing, you're purchasing a van, and you're like, X amount of money to be transferred to this account, from this account to this account. It's a safe environment. Neither of you are gonna run out there with the money or the keys, and the bank is handling all of that just fine.
So if that's not a possibility for you, or you just prefer to do it via, bank transfer,
as we did,
then you should always ring the bank up in advance and say, I might be doing a big transfer in the next few days because I'm buying a van or might buy a van.
Then if you end up actually going through and buying the van, then what we did in this case was we rang up the bank. We said what we're doing. We want to transfer this amount of money to this account.
They'll put it through, and usually this takes anywhere from about 10 to 30 minutes to actually get paid into the recipient's account. And in those 10 to 30 minutes, the next thing that we did was actually transfer the ownership from the seller to us.
So in that way, you have a little bit more security that the seller is not going to just take the money and then not give you the vehicle.
So in the UK, we have something called a V5C form. It's like an A4 piece of paper, and it shows you all the details about who owns the van, about all the details, whether it's been written off, anything like that. And on there, first of all, check that the person who is selling you the van is the person listed on that V5C form. And the second thing that you need to do is get this slip of paper. This is Section 6 New Keeper Slip.
And this thing is the thing that actually proves that you own the bloody vehicle. What is it with... This is the second country now that we've owned a vehicle that give a teeny tiny piece of paper that actually prove that you own something very important.
So this piece of paper is from the seller who sold us this van, from his V5C book.
Yes.
We got a new V5C book in the post that came about a week after we bought it, but this is the slip of paper that proves that you own the van without having that big A4 document. Make sure you're actually buying the vehicle that you're saying you're buying. Check the registration plate. That's kind of an important thing.
So at this point, the money are making their way into the seller's account, and you have completed the V5C form, and the seller is basically just holding it on until the money actually drop into his account.
Then he gets a ping on his phone. So much money has gone from your account into his. You get that little slip of paper. You've just bought yourself a van.
However, you must actually insure it and tax the vehicle before you can actually drive out.
Because it's illegal in the UK to not have your vehicle insured or taxed. So all you need to do for the tax, you go onto the government website. Again, I'll link it down below. That little slip of paper that you have, it has a special code on, so they'll know that you are the new owner. You pay for a year's worth of tax, and voila, you are taxed.
For the day that you actually buy the van, go with some sort of daily insurance, maybe 1 to 2 days. Why is this important? Is because this is a van conversion. Now, there aren't that many companies that actually recognize a van in conversion. Get insurance for a couple of days, and then in that time, do your research, call up a few insurance companies to actually establish what they're offering, and that way you're not actually forced to, commit.
Pick an insurer there and then. And that way you are taxed, you are insured, you can drive it home, you've got that little slip of paper, the money's left your account, you are now a very poor person with a very happy smile because you've just bought a van.
You're trying to feel the happiness, but the money is just gone. So that is how you buy a van. It only took us 5 to 6 videos. So if you missed any of those episodes, then they're in the description below, or click the cards above. And do please share your experience of buying a vehicle, or more vans in specific.
Go to our website for our new merch, join us on Patreon for exclusive discounts and content, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you never miss a video. See you later, peeps.